people love to actually just add on extra things,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like I shouldn't comment because I'm just adding on. But yes.
You're listening to Ignite the Frame.
Hi, I'm Steph. I'm here with Adam, and we're here to talk about how to speak like a human.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not qualified to talk about this because how I address my children is I go through all the children's names before I get to theirs.
I do the same thing. That's pretty normal, actually.
So, but, talking from a video and marketing standpoint, there's a lot of companies and industries that we come across that love to talk in corporate speak, as hopefully many of you understand what that means. And they say a lot of words, but they don't really mean anything when you really think about it.
Yeah, it's really too bad because I think, there's a lot of words used in the corporate world, and I get what they mean. They have meaning and significance, but it's not how humans usually talk. No. And I think it really separates our communication from like, here's how we talk as humans to each other, and then here's like the corporate speak that we use, and it really makes that stuff sound, oh, that's corporate speak, Yeah. And maybe there's some people that think like that in their head, but I would wager that most people don't actually think like that using those words in their head.
I find that with corporate speak as well, they like that's not how people connect. So like when you hear the word corporate video, do people go, oh, yeah, I want to go check that out. Yes. Like that sounds really exciting. Yeah. Nobody, like your brain almost turns off when you see a corporate spoken video. And then you hear the people, like we're often the people behind the camera, if they're trying to say this corporate script that someone's provided from them from comms team. We love you, comms team, but you need to be able to say it out loud first and see what that sounds like, because they're tripping over their words because this is not how you speak.
Yeah, and there's lots of words that are just not natural. You don't use the word operationalize in most sentences, and it's really good if someone is speaking words to have them be understandable and relatable and make sense to listeners. I think it also provides just a deeper connection as humans, right?
Yeah,
because we're not, that's not how we normally speak. When we hear stuff like that, we put it in that box, right?
Yeah.
And we say, okay, that's corporate stuff, corporate speak. And I think especially when it comes to marketing, but it's important for internal communications as well. I think people will relate to things better if it's something said the way they would actually say, those words and that. And I think it makes it a deeper connection as humans if it's in language that's understood. The other thing is then people maybe that aren't as familiar with those words can understand them a little bit better because it's something that's simpler to make sense of. And I think that's a big problem people have is writing, words and sentences that are too complex, and it needs to be, for lack of a better word, dumbed down and made easier to understand and to follow. And that can be tough to do. It can be often more work. It's like shortening something.
Yes.
It can be more work, but it really pays off in the end.
Yeah, well, and it just really brings home your point then too, right?
Absolutely.
Like in an age of like, you need 5 seconds to grab someone's attention.
Yeah.
And there's just so much consuming of content that if you have like 300 ideas in this 1 minute video, they're not going to get a thing out of it.
Yes.
And I mean, that's a different problem, but
no, I think it's really important, and it's becoming more important too as more information is out there. And also, as we have more and more content that's generated by AI, I think it's more important to have stuff that actually sounds like the way humans can speak. And you can use AI tools to help generate that. You just have to make sure you prompt AI to do that for you.
Yeah, you create what you want to talk about, and maybe you write that corporate speak of that is something that comes naturally to you to write, but then go and dumb it down, as it were. 8th grader needs to understand what's going on. And make it more conversational. A lot of other reasons we do a lot of interviews with people to get their content is because it's way more natural.
Yeah.
And having someone who's scripted and in a teleprompter, if they're a good communicator, maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
but a lot of people aren't, and they're in that role
Yes.
to be able to, like, you're the guy that's going to do this. So you're standing in front of the camera, you got to do it. And it just feels like you're reading, but looking at them.
Very much. Yeah. That's often the way it is. And it doesn't seem nearly as natural. And that's why it's important. So how can we make this better for people?
Yeah, well, one of the like main things always when you're writing something is, what am I actually saying to my audience?
Yeah.
And what do I want them to come away with?
Yeah.
And that's just like, you gotta start from there
Yes.
first.
Yeah. That's really important to understand, like deeply understand and establish what you're trying to communicate. We see that often where people will come to us with a script or an outline saying, hey, this is what we want to say. But there hasn't been a lot of thought to like, what is the actual takeaway?
Yeah.
And I would push that further, not just what's the takeaway, what's the action you want people to take, right? There has to be some sort of call to action for almost every kind of video or communication for that matter. What do you want people to do to come away with and then act upon? Whether that's, they want to change a behavior, buy something, sign up for something, follow somebody, share a piece of content, whatever that is, there has to be a way there has to be a clear call to action at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's really, really important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, I think no one really thinks that way, is like starting from the end and working backwards. And that's so important to change your line of thinking that way too.
What's next?
One of the other things is simplifying it and shortening it.
Yes.
In our world, it's like, how can we make this shorter?
Yes.
And like we ask people in interviews, okay, that was really great, but can you make it shorter?
Yeah.
Because people love to actually just add on extra things.
Yeah.
It's just a common human thing, right?
I feel like I shouldn't comment because I'm just adding on. But yes, that's correct. It needs to be short. Brief is good, and it takes a lot of work to be brief, but it is really worth the effort to be very succinct. And that is where, AI tools can actually really help. And I'm not, suggesting AI is good for everything. And I do think, the ability to write and communicate as a human is important. But if you have an idea or a concept and say, hey, how can I make this shorter? Not lose any of the content, not lose any of the points, but shorten it. You can often come up with ideas and iterate a little bit and make it better.
Yeah, for sure. And like on the fact of like, making it simpler to understand and not using, ridiculous words. Like we kind of said before, like reading the script out loud. So you've made this simplified script, and it is, hopefully has not as many corporate words in it now.
Yes.
Read it out loud. And it doesn't have to be for an audience or anything. You don't even have to record it, but read it out loud and see what it feels like when you read it.
Yeah.
Does it feel like you're speaking normally, or?
Yeah. Yeah. Reading it out loud and reading it to somebody will often really help solidify, does this, make sense? Are the sentences, an appropriate length? They need to be short. When you're speaking, you don't speak in these crazy run-on sentences. And do the words, like, are they easy to pronounce? How does the sentence flow and things like that will really help. And I think understanding your audience and how you need to speak to them is really important.
Yeah.
If it's for public consumption, if it's marketing or something like that, who is your target, and will they understand this? You can't use terminology that confuses people or that they don't understand, because then you lose people without defining it. I mean, there are some things, you're trying to explain a concept, but that's fine. Define, what you're saying in that, so it's clear to them.
Yeah, and is really able to like be bite-sized, digestible from a phone or
Yes.
things like that. There's all these crazy things going around people. It just needs to be very straight to the point.
Yes, agreed. What else you got on your list over there?
Well, for the script, reading the script aloud, mark where you naturally stumble and then reiterate on that, because you're not nervous yet.
Yes.
In front of a camera, right?
But you will be.
Yeah. So just make it easier, make it flow better. Like we were saying, cut anything you wouldn't ever say in real life. If it doesn't, you still want it to kind of sound like you.
Yeah.
And people kind of pick up on that natural nuance of like, this doesn't sound like that person, like, or even just this doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
It's important. Otherwise, you're not really connecting with anybody. You're not going to listen to what you don't have to say, right?
Yeah, you'll figure out it as you say things out loud, what words might trip you up and what sentences don't feel as real. And I guess the other thing that we'll often do, if someone's like struggling with a script, even if it's something that's written, we'll say, can you just explain it to me? Like as a lay person or someone outside the situation, can you just kind of summarize this concept? And then they'll do that. And it's like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And is often worded better. And sometimes just doing that and taking that process and then using that information to adjust your script is good. The other thing I'd add to that is like doing that before, you have a camera there is really good.
Oh, 100%.
Because then you can be prepared when there's a camera in your face and you're not doing that in front of people. It's effectively more expensive when there's people standing around. Sometimes you don't have as much time. Sometimes it can get stressful. It's a lot better if you do that ahead of time, and you'll feel a lot more confident going in if you know, I know my content really well. I've rehearsed it to one degree or another, and you don't have to worry about stumbling through something or doing a lot of editing on the fly as you go, which is not a great time to be doing that. The other thing is too, when you're editing on the fly, you don't have as much time for others to look at it maybe.
Yes.
And things get missed. And I've seen that so many times over the years where people miss things because, they're making edits as they go and then they realize later, oh, we forgot something that needs to be in there.
Yeah, because if they're making edits on the go, they're not really having that time to think it through as well.
Yes.
It's always good to like write something and then come back to it and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this or that. That's so obvious. But, in that high stress situation, you're not going to think of those things. And almost always we have to go back and make something happen with it.
It's nice not to patch things up later and try to,
Yeah.
usually you can find a solution, but it's sometimes not the best is if you just thought through the content really well to begin with.
Yeah, and even so, like it doesn't need to be a script, but it could be key points.
Yes.
And key points are better for a lot of reasons because you're going to speak the way you speak.
Yes.
And you won't forget the things that you need to talk about.
Yeah.
So obviously, a lot of the times we have interview questions that speak to and just kind of help them, prompt them to those key messages that they want.
Yeah.
And then, if you're prepared ahead of time, there's a lot of other people on set that can help you make sure that you don't miss anything as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Save any sort of work on set for like those final little adjustments or iterations, but really being prepared is a big part of it.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, a corporate video doesn't have to feel like a corporate video. And I think that's something that people don't sometimes think that can be true. Just because it's boring content doesn't mean that can be a boring video. We can do a lot of things. And, there's a lot of creative people in this world and we can make boring fun.
Yes, exactly.
Inspirational even.
Yes. At least interesting, right?
Yeah. So I just want to talk to you about some really fun corporate sentences just for the audience that, you need to understand what we're talking about here. And I just want to get your take on some of them.
And I haven't seen any of these,
Yes.
so I don't know what you got.
He's flying blind here.
Yes, we'll see how this goes.
So I'll try to stay with this with a straight face. We're committed to delivering best-in-class solutions.
Yes, everyone says that. And it doesn't really mean anything because everybody says it, the good and bad and everyone in between says the same thing, right?
Yeah, you could poster that on most things.
Yeah, everyone, is going to deliver that, right? But it's also just, it's not very well worded, right? Talk about a value you have or something like that, not just best in class.
Yeah, like a tangible thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I've got kind of a conversational sentence that says that same thing, but better.
Yeah.
We want to do good work that actually helps.
That's much better.
And it's like, oh, I don't have to turn my brain on to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's how someone would actually speak to another human.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the next
What
one.
else? Wait, what else?
Our mission is to empower stakeholders through innovative engagement strategies.
Ugh. Yes. Some people think that that's maybe more sophisticated.
I think that's also some of the weariness of corporate speak is people want to sound smart.
Yeah.
And so then they say things in that way, like really break down what your company does. And they have to use all these like synergy and like all these things. And it's like, no, but what do you do? Because I still don't get it. Like,
Yes.
and it's just like, just simple is better every time.
Absolutely.
So this
How
was
would you-
the
yeah.
conversational
Yeah.
piece for it. So we want people to understand what's going on and feel included.
That's much better. Yes.
Instead of our mission is to empower stakeholders through innovative engagement strategy.
And I think part of the problem with corporate speak is that we've all become pretty jaded to what corporations say because we all see, you don't have to look far in the news or media or anywhere else to see corporations that are doing dumb things or they're saying one thing but then acting different, right?
Yeah.
Every one of the major banks says they're here to help small business, and every small business person I've ever talked to at banks knows that that's not true.
Yeah.
They're there to look after themselves and to make a profit, and it's fine. It's a necessary thing that you have to deal with. That's just one example, but people say these things because it's good marketing or they think it's good marketing, but it doesn't actually have any weight behind it. And that's why I think, we're all so opposed to using these kind of phrases because they're not the way, someone would actually say something, that actually cares about their commitment to those things.
Yeah. And it always feels like you're being sold to, right? Like almost
Absolutely.
immediately. And
Yeah.
does any human like to be sold to? No.
No.
So it just doesn't convert.
Yeah.
The next one is we're building a future-ready customer experience.
Yeah. They must know what the future is.
Yeah.
It's got to be great.
Yeah, future-ready.
Yeah. Yeah, that's maybe a little less bad than the previous one, but still not great.
It
Still
just means
pretty-
AI, I guess, right?
What's the nicer way to say
We're
that?
trying to make this easier and better for customers.
That's much better.
It's just it takes so much brain power to understand in those ridiculous words.
Yeah.
What are you actually saying? Nothing? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it takes it from something that sounds like corporate speak, that sounds like jargon, and makes it more real. And I would argue definitely helps establish a better connection with the person listening to it. And we're talking about it in the context of video, but this applies to any corporate communications. Really, is if you can talk to people the way they speak and the way they're used to speaking, that's really good. That'll work a lot better. You'll get much better results, and a lot better engagement from stakeholders.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
On that note, thank you for talking to me about
problem.
corporate speak.
Sorry to end on that.
Thanks for listening to our conversation today on Ignite the Frame. We'd love it if you'd follow and give us a rating. Ignite the Frame was produced by Atomic Spark, your video partner.